Action is where it's at, brothers and sisters. It is really where it's at. Intention without action is a waste of time, and action without intention, you're kind of lost. And it's like, you know, trying to use Siri to get somewhere and you didn't put your destination in, so you're just kind of driving in circles. These steps are key. That is why I gave them to you in this order. And so getting into action is one of my favorite things to do as well. And I'm going to give you some of my best tips for action. Okay, here's an example. I'm going to take my wife on a date. I'm going to take my wife on a date. Now that's great. And I will ask the client, well, what's your next physical action? Well, we're going to go out on a date. It's going to be really good. We're going to have a good time together. Yeah, but here's the thing. When you go out on a date, there's some things you have to do, right? If you have children, you have to set up a babysitter. You have to select a restaurant. Does the restaurant need reservations? You have to decide what time you're going. What time? Where do you want to go? Are you meeting people? Are you going alone? There are decisions that have to be made. That's the best way I can give an example of what I mean when I say next physical actions. It's really getting specific and drilling down to that very next step. And so many times we don't understand why we don't get into action and why do we procrastinate. And it's quite often because we've just said, I want to do this. I want to call that person. I'm gonna grow my business. Well, it's wonderful that you're going to grow your business. What specifically are you going to do? That's one of the reasons the action phase is critical. You've got to get specific. There's a spot in the guide for 30-day milestones and for 90-day milestones. And you know, a milestone, I used to live in Duluth and we'd be watching Grandma's marathon and we'd stand by a mile marker or a milestone. It would be like maybe mile 20, and you know, the runners would become running and they get to see like, oh, look at, I'm at that mile. So they knew they were, 4/5 done with the race. You need to know if you're making progress. We need to have evidence of progress. And when you have milestones clearly decided and they are specific before you get started, when you check on your progress, you'll be able to say, I wanted to be there and I am here. Or you'll be able to say, wow, I'm not there. I'm not getting there. So now you can have a discussion and you can think about, well, what's keeping me from getting me where I want to go? Is my milestone too big? Is my goal too generous? Those are the kind of questions you get to ask yourself. The other thing that I love about the action phase is that you get to celebrate and you get to think about, once you have your actions clearly written down, it's so much easier to celebrate. If your actions and your goals aren't really clearly defined, it's hard to know when you're there, when you've arrived. I've had some clients that didn't do a very good job of being clear about what their actions were, and when they got there, like, well, I don't really know if I accomplished my goal. Well, that's a terrible feeling. You want to be clear. You want to know when you've accomplished so you can go like, yeah, high five. We're excited about this. Enjoy designing your actions.